Hello, I'm Bernanke from interest.co.nz and welcome to a special report on the Barack Obama inauguration, brought to you in association with ASB. It's worth looking at what the Obama inauguration means for the global economy, for the US economy, and for us, and to look at the scale of the challenge Barack Obama faces in the days ahead. Because as Barack Obama talked about choosing hope over fear, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was dropping like a stone. Just a few hours after he spoke, the Dow closed down 330 points at a new low, under 8,000. This wasn't directly because of Obama's speech. It was about some shock news from State Street, the second biggest custodian bank on Wall Street, and more fears, remember that fear is dominating on Wall Street still, more fears about the financial system. So how bad is it for Obama? People use the word depression a lot these days and compare the global economy now with the global economy back in 1930. It's worth too looking at the inauguration speeches of the two presidents, Barack Obama now and FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, back on March the 4th, 1933. Some people compare the two, but really FDR had a much tougher task. Unemployment back then in 1933 was 25%. People were starving in America. The banks were actually shut. There'd been so many runs on banks that many state governments had shut the banks. So when FDR stood up to speak on March the 4th, 1933, there was no banking system in America. That's not the case now, of course. The banks have stopped lending large amounts to new customers, but you can still get your money out of the bank, and most people believe their money is safe in American banks. Unemployment too in America right now is 7.2%, well below the 25% FDR faced. But there are some big challenges for Obama, and that's very clear looking at what was happening just this morning with the announcement from State Street of billions of dollars of losses in off-balance sheet vehicles, collapses in its share price, the share price of JP Morgan, Bank of America and Citigroup. All of those banks face major challenges in the next couple of months. Some of them may even have to be nationalised. Remember too that FDR faced not just an economic crisis and a financial crisis, he eventually had to drop the gold standard. And just weeks after his inauguration, he ordered the confiscation of all privately held gold in America. So what does this all mean for New Zealand and the global economy? Well, we know America is the biggest economy in the world, and that's not going to change in the next couple of years. Obama will announce a fiscal stimulus in the next couple of weeks worth $700 billion US. This is on top of the $750 billion announced to bail out the banks at the end of last year. He may set up too a bad bank. This is a bank which takes in the toxic assets of the banks in America. We'll see a new set of leaders too. Tim Geithner, the new Treasury Secretary, he replaces Henry Paulson, or Dr. Clink as I like to call him. Ben Bernanke though at the Federal Reserve, he stays. We may see some nationalisation of some of the banks. It's worth looking too at America's status for New Zealand directly. America is New Zealand's second largest trading partner, so there's a lot of importing we do from America, but mostly exporting. But the bigger impact is not direct, it's actually indirect through our other trading partners. Our biggest trading partner is Australia. Then it goes America, China, Japan, Korea, and then Britain. Those first four trading partners, China, Japan, Korea, and Australia, are all dependent, directly or indirectly, on the export trade to America. Consumers in America have been buying cars, electronic goods hand over fist in recent years, and they've been buying them from factories in China, which use steel produced by the iron ore and coal produced out of Australia. So a slowdown in the US economy affects us indirectly through those other economies who buy our exports. Also got to watch at the currency. Just this morning, as Obama spoke, the New Zealand dollar fell to a new 6-year low of 51.6 cents in the dollar, down from over 80 cents at the beginning of last year. Now, bizarrely, the turmoil in the US means the US dollar gets stronger as many banks pull their money back home. And as people look to put their money into what they see as a safe currency, which at the moment some believe is the US dollar. This means the New Zealand dollar falls, of course. One thing to watch too is what I call financial isolationism. This is where the stress in the banking system forces banks to stop lending across borders. This is a problem for New Zealand. We fund about 30 to 40% of our lending from these foreign lenders. If they stop lending across borders, we've got a problem. The other one is trade isolationism, one of the causes of the depth of the Depression in the 1930s. Obama made some worrying comments during the election campaign about protecting American jobs, putting up trade barriers. Whether he actually does it when he's in power is another thing. And the comments around the trade deal with America seem reasonably positive. But we'll have to watch that. There is a lot of noise coming out of the Congress and our Democratic-controlled Congress about pushing for trade barriers. So there we have it. Barack Obama is inaugurated. There is a lot of hope, and for those people in America who are wearing t-shirts just like this, they believe, yes, we can. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was a special report brought to you in association with ASB.